Well, good afternoon, YouTube. This is Jordan Davidson with Your Marriage Success Coaching, and I am speaking to you from the balcony of our Florida office, which is what Vanessa and I sort of jokingly call the timeshare that we own just outside of Lake Buena Vista in Florida. So we're down here for a couple of weeks in the winter months of February just to take it easy and work from here instead of working from snow-covered Moncton. So here I am. And today I wanted to show you something, not the beautiful sights that are outside, but I wanted to show you something that I've owned since I was 15 years old. And it is this. This is the very first electric guitar that I ever owned. Got it when I was 15 or 16, I can't recall, sometime in 1985, which I guess gives away my age. And man, this thing was everything when I was that age. This was the thing that I wanted to do. And no, I'm not going to play it right now. I don't have an amp, so it really doesn't matter. But the point is that this guitar represented to me the way to express myself. It was what I wanted to do a little bit with my life. I wanted to write songs. I wanted to make music. I still do. The sad thing is, though, I never really learned how to play this guitar. And while I love it, and while I love the idea of being a musician, and I love the idea of being a great guitar player that can rip off those nice licks and play all those great songs, I never put the time into it. And there was something that I didn't know then that I know now that would have changed everything. When I was young, I didn't know how to play this. I didn't know the first thing about it. I couldn't make a noise on it that made any kind of music. So I did what most people do. I took lessons. I got a coach, basically. And the first coach I had, basically, he just taught from a book. There was this book, many of you maybe have been indoctrinated with it, Mel Bay Guitar Method No. 1. It was boring. Oh my God, was it boring. It was horrible. It did not make me want to play. I wanted to play songs. I wanted to play the songs I heard on the radio. I wanted to play the songs from all my favorite albums. I wanted to be a rock star. And I was playing Mary Had a Little Lamb. It was horrible. And when I got this guitar, that was on my acoustic guitar. When I got this guitar, I really wanted to be a rock star. And I had the look. I would see myself in the mirror. I had the cool look, everything. And the long hair. I used to have very long hair back then. And I went and I got a different coach, one who would teach me, rock and roll. And that coach was a really, really great guy, and I still like him to this day. We're still friends. But he was not a good coach. He was about 2 years older than I was, and he would basically learn something that week and then try to teach it to me. There was no structure, there was no lesson. And what I learned to do, I learned to play the chords. Like, I learned a lot of different chords. And I learned a few songs as best as he knew them. I bought the odd book. I learned a couple of riffs here and there, but nothing that you would call being able to play. And I really didn't play with anybody else. I was embarrassed, I guess. We tried to form a band when I was in high school. It didn't work out. I had another band, which was just me, a drummer, and two singers that I put together for a grade 13 English project where I would write songs and we'd create some music, and we wrote an EP, and it was great, and our band was called Wild Pony. You'll never see anything that we ever did because it's all on one cassette tape that I may have in a drawer somewhere. There was something then that I didn't know, and over the years, I tried a lot of different things. I bought some books, I would noodle around, I figured out some music theory that I had missed over the years, and now is the great era of YouTube. And YouTube is out there, and I've watched a lot of guys, and there's a fella that I really enjoy, and what I decided to do is follow his teaching, and he's my new coach. He doesn't know he's my new coach because he does everything for free on YouTube. His name is Sandercoe. I will put a link to his channel in the description down there. because I think he's great. He offers his stuff for free, pay him what you want to. And so I decided to go back to basics because he has a structured program that will work if I follow it, right? So he's a coach that knows how to teach. And I bought his book. So I paid him some money and I bought his book, and it's back to basics. It's a beginning guitar thing, lessons. And I'm going through them, and I'm starting to fill in some of the gaps that I have as a guitar player. But the thing that I missed and that no one ever told me, and I think I may have knew it intuitively that it was something I needed to do, but I didn't believe I could do it. I didn't understand how anybody could do it. And that was that the most important thing about playing this instrument that every person who masters it does, learns to play by ear. They hear something and they can translate it to their instrument. They learn their songs by ear. And when I was younger, that meant either rewinding a tape a lot or picking a record player and trying to drop the needle in the right spot. And I knew when I played something that it sounded right. If I read it on a chart and I played it and I listened to it, it would make sense to me. But I couldn't do it without the chart. I couldn't do it without someone showing me the chords. And I didn't believe that I could do it. I did not believe that I had an ear for music, even though apparently I do, because I can pick out different pieces in a track and I can hear that's the guitar and that's the bass guitar and that's the keyboard and that's the vocal and that's the background vocal and there's the drum over there and there, hey, there's extra guitars that they've put in here. I can hear all that, but I didn't believe that I could make that sound come out of this instrument. And that is the extra piece that Justin teaches. And that's why I chose him to be my coach, because he explained to me and made me understand the importance of listening. And listening to the music and then making it myself. Now you may be wondering, that's 7 minutes worth of me talking about my guitar and my musical journey, and what on earth does that have to do with marriage and your journey? And there's a lot of similarities. There's a lot of, it can be a metaphor. So let's just call it a metaphor. My guitar journey is a metaphor for my marriage journey as well. When I was young and I was first married, I didn't know anything. I didn't have really anybody. My father taught me a little bit. I knew by watching things, but I was the first of my friends to get married when I was 22 years old. I had been dating my first wife for 5 years, so I knew how to do that. And I knew how to be married. I knew how not to cheat. I knew that stuff. I knew not to, to do the things, the basic stuff. But I didn't know what it really meant to be married. And I didn't know the fundamental secret of being married. I knew a couple of chords. I knew some things to do. And the stuff that was too hard, I avoided like the plague. Like I avoided practicing my guitar when I was younger, when it got hard. If there was a chord I couldn't do, I'd find a different way to do it. But I never learned how to do that one chord. I still can barely play an open C chord. It's those things. I didn't have the mentor. I didn't have other friends who were married to show me the ropes. And I didn't ask, to be perfectly honest. Because I figured I would just figure it all out. I'm a pretty smart guy. I'd learn how to do it. And ultimately, after 16 years, I didn't know how to do it, and that marriage ended. And fast forward to, I met Vanessa, and we hit it off, and we decided to get married, and we decided to really work on our marriage. And the thing that I missed then about how to make my marriage work well was the thing that I missed about my guitar. I needed to learn to listen, to really, really listen, not to hear something, think I knew what was going on and run with that, but to actually listen and to actually ask the questions that needed to be asked. I needed to practice, and I needed to practice listening, and I needed to hear the music, hear what my wife says, and take it and internalize it and learn how to give it back. And that's it's the same thing. I have to learn how to hear it off the record, internalize it, and play it out through the guitar. I need to understand what my wife is asking me, telling me in every way that she tells me. Not just words, but by things that she does, by clues she leaves around the house. All of those things, I need to listen and pay attention and hear the music that she's making, internalize it, and be able to bring it out of me as well. And that is what every man needs to do. We need to really, really listen. And when we don't understand, we need to ask. There's no harm in asking. When I try to figure something out off of an album, and I think I've got it, but it doesn't quite feel right, I will go and ask another musician, how do you play this? What are you hearing that I'm not hearing? I get a coach. And that's ultimately what we need to do as men. We need to have a coach, whether that's an official coach, someone like me who works with you to help you learn how to hear, gives you some extra tools, gives you feedback, helps you walk through things, or whether it's a mentor, someone that you know that's doing marriage really, really well, that you can go and ask and talk to them about it and get some feedback. The key is listen. Listen. Learn how to play your marriage by ear, the same way you play a musical instrument by ear. Pay close attention. Learn what's being said. And then take it into your heart and grow. Well, that's everything for me today, and that's what I wanted to leave you with. If you wanted to learn more about how to get coaching with me, there's a link in the description below about getting a free discovery session. And we can talk more about how to make the music of your marriage work for you. Once again, I'm Jordan Davidson with Your Marriage Success Coaching, and goodbye from Florida.